Howdy folks, I'm Posh Poppy, playfully popping Pompous Poppers.
I'm Amber.
And here are more Pompous Poppers for us to pop. I don't know how they're pompous, but I guess they are, and maybe they deserve to have their egos deflated. Just like some of these Redditors that we're probably going to read today. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Naming My Daughter After a Cicada Without Telling My Wife Its Meanings? I'm a 32-year-old male and I'm an entomologist, and my wife, a 30-year-old female, and I recently had our first child, a beautiful baby girl. During my wife's pregnancy, we were debating names for our daughter. My wife loved the name Moana, but I was worried that she might get teased because of the movies. Well, one day I suggested that we use the word Maua, which sounds similar but is unique. My wife immediately fell in love with it. She thought that it was beautiful, exotic, and was excited to tell everyone. I didn't mention that Maua is actually the name of a genus of cicadas. I thought that it was a lovely name and kept the origin to myself, thinking that it was a harmless secret. Well, our daughter was born and named Maua. Everything was perfect until my wife stumbled upon my etymology notes a few weeks later. She saw the name Maua listed under cicadas and put two and two together. She confronted me, heartbroken and furious that I hadn't been honest with her. She felt betrayed that I had let her fall in love with a name without telling her its true origin. She said that I had taken advantage of her trust and that she would have never agreed to the name if she had known the truth. Now she feels like our daughter's name is just a joke, and it has caused a huge rift between us. I try to explain that Maua is also a municipality in Brazil, and that has other associations besides cicadas, but she doesn't care. All she can think about is how her little girl is being named after a bug, and she can't stop associating the name with cicadas. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, you're the jerk, OP. You knew that she wouldn't go with it if she knew it's a cicada name, and so you did this deceptively.
Well, I mean, I think that probably the original name was also not so great.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a lot of people name their kids after Disney characters.
Yeah. Well, it's difficult, right? Because like they're not Polynesian and they don't
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like she didn't go out of her way to do any research on what these names actually
Or
mean
I'm not
and
saying the wife is totally in the clear.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe she's doing some culturally appropriative stuff here and whatnot, but we're here to judge OP's actions.
Well, I mean, you can when everyone's in the wrong here, you say everyone's in the wrong,
Well,
right?
I don't
So
think she's in the wrong for being upset about OP's deception, so
well, yeah, I think that she certainly has grounds to be upset that OP wasn't completely honest with her, but I also think that she seems it's a little strange that she wouldn't do any research at all into the name and just be, oh, we'll go ahead and use this name. I mean, I understand falling in love with the name, but then if you're falling in love with a name, maybe also check to make sure it doesn't mean something strange or weird.
yeah. I mean, certainly she could have done more due diligence, but if you know your partner's not going to like a name if they know its origin, then don't conceal that from him. And his whole, well, it's also a municipality in Brazil, like, that doesn't help your case, dude.
No. I mean, I think it has a lot of different other meanings, and it isn't necessarily exclusive to cicadas, but I think that this is probably one of the situations where being more honest is all right, but also who's going to actually know the meaning of a name like that, right? Like it's so obscure. Even if you were an entomologist, they probably, it's going to be one of those things where an entomologist is probably going to think it's interesting. Everyone else is just going to think it sounds like a neat name, and no one else is going to really care about what it actually means or not. So I don't know. I think certainly like she's right for being upset that he wasn't more honest, but or didn't actually come out with the truth, but I also feel like she should have done a little more due diligence too. I don't know. Amber's like, no, Brian,
Well, I mean,
no.
again, I'm not judging the wife's naming things here because that's not the question at hand. I do think there are some issues with how she handled
Mm-hmm.
the whole naming thing, but I think the deception is really what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah, and I think being deceptive or lying with a mission isn't good, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Crimson777 says, You're the jerk and you know it. You didn't tell her for a reason. The reason for a name that you picked for your child, even if it's a beloved thing that most people wouldn't mind naming their child after, is always something that you should share with your partner. This is a serious breach of trust, even though you don't seem to think that it really matters. And Jet It Together says, if you knew that the original understanding of the name would upset your wife, then you're the buttface. You deliberately withheld information to get your own way, knowing your wife would not be okay with it. If you just didn't bother and didn't think that your wife would not care, then not the butt face. I suspect you're the butt face though. And side note, Mawa also means us in certain contexts, a tree in others, and stingy in Hawaiian Polynesian. Like if you don't return a favor or don't treat someone with hospitality, or can refer to giving many gifts in others. It's contextual with the words that it's paired with and pronunciation, or found, find, and get in Samoan Polynesian. Not that it matters at all, since your wife liked Moana as a name from a movie about Polynesian culture, those meanings might be something that she actually cares about. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Husband That He Needs to Quit His Dream Job? So I, a 32-year-old female, and my husband, a 29-year-old male, live in an area with an extremely high cost of living. I work a job that pays decently well, which is kind of necessary to live where we do. My husband worked a job for years that paid less than mine did, but was okay with it overall, though he absolutely hated working there. Around October of last year, my husband managed to get a job in his dream career field. He has been working at it for years and was really excited about finally getting there. However, it's come with the big issue that the pay in his field is abysmal. He works as a freelancer, which is standard in the industry, so he has zero job benefits, and it's a pretty significant pay cut from his old job. We don't have any combined finances, and after he took the new job, we arranged how we pay for things to account for his lower income. Previously, he had covered slightly larger percentage of the expenses due to me having student loans to pay off, while he didn't. As it is now, I have been the breadwinner since his income was basically halved, paying for a larger portion of the expenses. I sat him down recently and I told him that I felt that he needed to quit his job and find a better paying one in a better field because it just wasn't feasible. He got upset since, like I had said, this is something that he dreamed about for years and worked really hard to get, which I understand. But I just feel it isn't fair to me. We've had to cut back on a lot of things, and there's just not really any sign of a pay increase at this point. I feel like I'm carrying him. He offered to get a part-time job on the side, but I know anything that he could get that would be feasible for him while keeping his current job wouldn't provide much. He suggested that we move somewhere less expensive, to which I said absolutely not, since we would have to go quite a ways to find something in that range, and it would mean ridiculously long commutes to my work and being further away from my family. He offered to have his parents help, which I don't want because it's not a long-term solution. He's extremely upset, and I understand it, because I know that he worked hard to get here. If he quit now, it would be basically killing his career, and it would be extremely hard for him to get another job and another shot at this kind of job. It's not like we're struggling, which is true. We can pay rent, put food on the table, but I hate feeling like this. I work long days at a rather difficult job while he works from home doing something that he did before as a hobby and only makes half as much money right now. My point is that it's not like he has to stop doing what he does altogether, since as I mentioned, he did it as a hobby beforehand. But he's upset because he said that this is the only thing that he's ever really wanted to do career-wise, and giving it up now would mean he likely never would be able to make it work again. Am I the jerk? I understand that it's important to him, but I'm starting to resent him because I feel like the burden of our finances are being placed on me, and we've had to cut back on a lot of things. And I do want to point out the split because this is mentioned in the comments. He was paying 60% of the bills before. She was paying 40 because of those loans. Now she's paying 70 and he's paying 30. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Opie's the jerk because it sounds like she's not willing to humor any possibility. She's not willing to let him even try to find a part-time job. Like, what's the harm in him getting a part-time job and seeing if he can make up enough money?
Yeah.
You know, And it sounds like he has no problem moving to a cheaper area, but OP is so set on. All I hear is, well, it's better for me. Well, it's better for me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this, it seems like she has known for years that this is his one dream. This is the thing he's shooting for. And as soon as he gets there, she's like, oh, well, this isn't working out for me, so you gotta quit it.
Yeah, I really think that this needs to be a bigger discussion and they need to actually compromise on some stuff here. I understand the burden here on OP is a lot, right? 70% to 30%, when having the ratio switch that drastically can feel hard, I'm sure. I'm wondering if some of this is that their finances are completely split, and that means now she has less to save away, and that
Yeah.
she's feeling like she doesn't have quite as much free spending money and whatnot. And it sounds like he probably is having less in the way of free spending money and all those kinds of things as well,
Yeah,
right?
it sounds like they've had to cut back on things and she's not happy about that. She wants her previous lifestyle, even if it makes her husband miserable.
Yeah.
Because she does say that he was miserable at his last job.
hmm this might be a fundamental lack of compatibility at
Mm-hmm.
this point in time. Like, if she really can't accept him and the job that he wants to do, then I don't know. Like, if this is something that she knew from the beginning, it's not like he just said, came up with this one day out
Mm-hmm.
of the blue and it's like, I want to do this, right? She's known this is a goal of his for a long time. And so I don't know how she didn't see this coming, where he's eventually going to get a job in this field.
Right. Like, did she just assume he wasn't good enough and it was a pipe dream? And now that it actually works, she's like, oh, wow, wow, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
So, I would feel differently if one, he had totally sprung this on her out of nowhere. Like,
hmm
just quit his job one day and get this, oh, yeah, this is what I'm doing now. But it sounds like this was a long term goal of his. She knew what he was doing, and she's not willing to humor any compromise. She's not even willing to test things out.
Yeah.
She's just like, no, it won't work. I know it won't work. It can't work.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think there needs to be compromise here, plain and simple. He was miserable at his old job. This is what he really wants to do. If OP wants to, she's saying that she's resenting him, but how much is he going to resent her
Mm-hmm.
in the future if he's not able to do this job opportunity, right?
Right. Well, and that's my big concern about this whole thing. Is it sounds like OP is not concerned about him if he's miserable. She's like, well, he'll still be able to do it as a hobby. And like, in a partnership, you should be thinking about your partner's needs as well. And
hmm
like, it also sounds like she's resentful now because he gets to work from home doing what he loves, and she's at a job that she doesn't like as much. But
hmm
like, you should be happy for your partner and support them as best as you can. And there may become a time when it's unsustainable,
Yeah.
but it sounds like they haven't explored enough options yet to be like, okay, this can't work.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is an update to one that we read this week. Update. Am I the jerk for telling my wife that there's nothing weird about me giving away my niece at her wedding and that my wife has no say in it at all? So, reading the comments on my last post made me feel a bit better about everything. To be honest, all of these discussions that I had with my wife, it just gets extremely tiring. And sometimes I start feeling guilty about everything. But reading the comments made me feel better. I had a discussion again with my wife last night, and I didn't show her the post because a lot of the comments were pretty harsh towards her. But I did feel confident last night when we had the discussion. We came to a decision that I would walk my niece down the aisle, but we would also go to marriage counseling because my wife has a lot of things to get off her chest. I asked my wife what some of those things were, and she said the primary issue was that she felt like I was playing happy family with my sister and my niece all these years, and she feels like I've taken the role of the significant other to my sister, to which I disagree with, but we'll speak about it in marriage counseling. She then talked about how she sometimes wishes that she was my sister instead of my wife because she wished she had that same emotional connection with me that I had with my sister. I didn't really know what to say to that, so I didn't say anything at all. She then talked about how I've been more of a father to my niece than our daughter, but I disagreed again because my daughter and I have always been close, and I've never sensed any resentment from our daughter. Again, something that we both will be talking about in marriage counseling. So that's the update. A pretty exhausting discussion, but my marriage counseling should hopefully help. I am glad to be able to walk my niece down the aisle because she said that it really means a lot to her. All right, folks, what do you think of this after the update?
I do not get warm fuzzies anymore. Like, at first, when I read the original post, it just sounded like the wife was overreacting.
Yeah.
But now it sounds like there probably is a bigger issue going on, that he has been, neglecting his family in favor of his sister's family.
Yeah, that's the kind of impression that I'm getting here too. It seems like there's more here than what he was originally leading on, because originally he's like, oh, I'm taking good care of my daughter. She doesn't have any resentment. But then when the wife says things to the effect of, I wish I was your sister because you're more of a husband to her than you are to me.
Right, and I wish I had that emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love my siblings, but, like, I definitely don't have the same level of emotional connection with them that I do with Brian.
Yeah.
And I think, as close as you are with your siblings, you really should have a close relationship with your partner, because you're a family, you're a team, and so, like, it's very concerning to hear things from the wife's perspective.
Yeah, so I think that there may be more than meets the eye here, and maybe he's not as nice in the respect that he's been painting himself as. Maybe there's a lot of hidden stuff here.
Yeah, but hopefully the marriage counseling will do them good.
I hope so as well. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright folks, and our next letter is also an update. Update for ghosting my girlfriend after she nearly killed us both. So the past couple of hours have been ridiculous, honestly. Before the actual update, I just want to sort some stuff out. I've seen people talking about this post being rage bait or fake. Honestly, I wish it was, but I actually need to hear some opinions on what happened. Some people talked about me having anger issues. This is not true at all. I've never snapped at her like this for tickling me, let alone hitting her or anything like this. But in the rage of the moment, I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I might consider myself to be a calm person, but that doesn't mean that I will laugh or giggle through some stupid stuff. The actual crash happened at a speed that could have killed us if I had swerved in the wrong direction. I was driving on a country road, and I could have frontally hit a car coming on from another direction, as the speed at which I crashed happened to be around 40 miles per hour. The tickling part and the childhood trauma. I've mentioned that to my now ex-girlfriend around 3 months into our relationship, but as many have pointed out the obvious, I wasn't dating the sharpest tool in the shed, and it took a while to realize it, so I guess I might be dumb as well, lol. I think I might have misused the word ghosting in my head. Telling her to get out of my house was already a clear sign of our relationship status. Now to the actual update. After reading nearly all the comments, I took the decision to send my ex a message where I told her that we should meet face to face. Some people suggested that I should file a lawsuit, but my ex is still in university and her parents can barely afford to help her. She obviously has done something dumb, but I don't want to punish her parents for it. The car is in the process of getting fixed, and I can afford it without a major financial issue. Still, I took screenshots of her messages in order for me to have some proof in case the situation escalates. So we met at a coffee shop. She looked as if she's been crying for a long time, but it didn't change my mind at all. What shook me was the fact that she leaned in for a kiss when she saw me, as if nothing ever happened. I stopped her and I told her that we need to have a serious conversation. I explained what happened wasn't because of the car itself, but because of her disrespecting my boundaries and not thinking for a second about what might happen if she did that thing. Besides that, I also felt disrespected by the fact that her best friend came knocking at my door to demand things, despite not having any right to do so, which led to me asking my ex if she told her best friend the truth or if she lied about the situation. She said that she had only told her friend that we had had a small car crash and I'm mad at her. Hearing that made me feel disappointed as well, but I did my best to remain calm. I told her to tell the real story to her friends and family, and she raised her voice and told me that I am accusing her of being a liar, something that led to a 15-minute discussion about how the crash was solely her fault and how she put our lives at risk. I asked her if everything was clear about our situation, and her response was, "Yep, 100%. Can we go home now?" That honestly shocked me. I told her that there's no way we can be back together, and I suggested that she should be more careful and considerate with her future partner. Her reaction was all tears, shaking and begging me to reconsider my decision. But I just can't look at her the same. I explained again that for me, it wasn't a small mistake that she had made. It was a full-on dumb decision that shouldn't have been done by an adult, as it could have resulted in something deadly. She just thinks that I'm exaggerating. And this back and forth led to an argument that led her to ask if there was someone else in my life and that I'm just using the accident as an excuse. I denied, and I told her that she's too selfish to even realize that she broke my trust and disrespects me by saying this kind of nonsense. I left the coffee shop feeling like I had been talking to a wall, but at least I can't say that I didn't try to have a conversation. An hour ago, her mom texted me asking what happened, and I told her everything. I said that I don't want any money from them, but the only thing that I'm asking is for my ex to keep a distance from me. She apologized for what her daughter did and wished me all the best. As for her friend, from my understanding, she just came to my house without talking with my ex on whether she should or not, so I guess she just tried to be the main character in this whole story. Right now, I'm prepping for work, but my chest isn't heavy anymore. In case anything will happen in the future, I will keep everyone updated, but I hope it won't be the case. Lol. Thank you for helping me navigate this weird situation, and thanks for all the kind messages. I hope everyone stays safe. Edit. Sorry if this wasn't the drama-filled update that some people might have expected, but I came here with the desire to get some perspective on my situation and be as transparent as possible. I never intended to post the story for votes or anything like that. Alright folks, what do you think?
I mean, I'm glad that OP is out of this relationship. It does not seem like she still understands what she did wrong, and that's very concerning.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most disappointing part of this whole story is that she seems to think that OP is breaking up with her because he either found another person or he's like exaggerating this whole car situation
Right,
or
that's the thing. Is like not only like did she violate his very clear boundary, she also almost got them killed, and like she can't understand that those are both really really big things that someone may not want to be in a relationship with you anymore over.
well, with the way she's accusing OP of things, I also think that OP probably dodged a bullet in
Mm-hmm.
general with this relationship because it doesn't seem like she would ever really acknowledge fault on her part for
Mm-hmm.
things. And it's always going to be an excuse. Well, it's this or that. It's the car. You're doing this because of the car, or you're doing this because you found someone else. So you're not doing this because of my actions. It seems like she just really does not seem to want to actually reflect on the things that she's done and realize that maybe it wasn't such a good thing. She didn't even apologize to him.
No.
But let me know what you folks think. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Where did the candy maker go on his vacation?
Where did the candy maker go on his vacation? I think that the candy maker went to like Sugarloaf Mountain.
I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. I was thinking, there's Carmel, Maine,
Oh, there's Carmel, Maine, Sugarloaf Mountain. There's a lot of like sugary towns.
but it's first to Carmel, California, then to the Mint.
Oh, to the Mint, where they robbed it. And I have Earl Grey. I know I had it yesterday. I apologize for all the confusion that it'll cause, but I forgot which tea I had yesterday, and then I realized too late.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing the same tea a couple days in a row.
I always try to change it up, though. I try to change it up. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Spectacular Saturday, folks. I hope your Saturday is off to a spectacular start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it the headline for a newspaper.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Local woman doesn't understand that almost causing a car crash caused the demise of her relationship.
It was a wreck. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
She just thinks that I'm exaggerating and that this is